Hey, what's up, YouTube? So today I wanted to go ahead and make a little recording on some of Temuera Morrison's recent comments. I want to give my thoughts on it. He over the weekend, I think he was at the Q&A. He was at Supernova Comic Con, and at the Q&A panel, he commented on The Mandalorian season 3. And this is what he had to say. Quote, I was supposed to be in The Mandalorian season 3, but nobody rang me. I was waiting for the phone call in New Zealand, waiting and wanting to give up. Well, that Mando guy, referring to Din Djarin, stole a few chapters of my book. It was painful watching him turn up with some black new lethal sword. And the way he turned up in my book of Boba, he just destroyed everybody. I'm sure this guy is ruining my show. But I couldn't say anything. I'm not the writer, so I have to bear it, I guess. And this is kind of a trend that Temuera Morrison's actually been having recently. Starting with the book of Boba Fett, he didn't like a lot of the different decisions that they took the character in. He thought many of the lines that he had should have been given to Fennec. And then, of course, now he's coming out with his disagreement on how they treated his character in regards to sidelining his own character. And I don't blame him for this. Temuera Morrison has waited probably years. No, he did wait years for to play this character in a TV show or a movie. And when he gets it, he gets sidelined for the character that was based off of Boba Fett. This is just another classic example of Disney and Lucasfilm not caring about the legacy of what started this franchise, right? First, you had the original trio, right? Their entire story arcs from the original trilogy are basically null and void by the end of the sequels, because it's all rebooted, basically. Din Djarin, he's the new Boba Fett. Ahsoka, I don't know. I guess you could call her the new Luke, or I guess maybe the new Mara. I don't know what you would want to call her, but the new Anakin. I don't know. But my point is, they're trying to get rid of the old, and they're bringing in their characters. That's the whole point of the sequels. The reason why the sequels felt so similar to the OT is because that was the point. They wanted to reboot everything. They wanted Rey to have the new Jedi Order. They wanted Poe to be the new hotshot pilot. They wanted, I guess, Finn, he's sort of like Leia in the sense that he was a part of a government. And I have a feeling he may have sort of a political role later on, and he's going to be another Jedi, right? The second secret Jedi. Well, I say it's secret, but like Leia was discovered, she was force sensitive. Finn was discovered to be force sensitive. So Finn's probably going to be Rey's first apprentice, much like Leia was Luke's first apprentice in the EU. So it's very, very sad to see what's going on here. And, the actor for Admiral Akbar, he was very upset with how they treated Akbar in The Last Jedi. Mark Hamill was, of course, upset, though he did, reconcile with it, which is fine. But, he still had his initial disagreements. And Temuera Morrison, well, he was completely against what happened. And I don't blame him, because I was too. I noticed that very thing. The fact that Boba Fett he's not even in every episode of his own show is ludicrous in my mind. They spent that whole episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett, on Din Djarin, and then the second episode was predominantly Din Djarin and Luke and Grogu and Ahsoka and all those characters, right? All the Filoni characters. Or the characters that will get clicks, right? Now a lot of people ask, Why do I still cover this kind of stuff? Because I think it's important to recognize what Disney's doing, um, how they're treating their actors, how they're treating the story. Um, and a lot of people, I do want the EU to continue. Absolutely, I do. But sometimes I do worry if it were to continue, these are the people who would be in charge of it. Now I have hope it will not become like the new canon because the EU has established so much. And I do have hope that if they were to continue it, they would hire the old authors and illustrators. But I understand that that may not happen if it is continued. And tomorrow's the 9-year anniversary, so some people, I mean, next year's 10 years and until, since the decanonization happened. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that at the moment, but um, it's sad because Temuera Morrison, he's been a loyal, devoted, not only just a loyal actor and voice actor for the franchise, he's been a loyal fan. I mean, he's a fan. I don't think people remember that he's a fan of the franchise. He loves this franchise. And every time people, wanted him to lend his voice for a video game or a cartoon or whatever, he did it. Right now, of course, there were long-term things he wasn't doing, like the Clone Wars and things like that. But there were other times when he did lend his voice. The Battlefront games, great example. And there's plenty of other examples where he lent his voice. Um, and of course, now he's portraying some of these characters again in live action. Uh, he's played a clone in live action again, right? And the Obi-Wan show. And of course, he played Boba Fett and Mando in Book of Boba Fett. So, um, it's sad to see how they're treating this man, this person who's been so loyal to the fans, been so caring about the fans, been so uh, loving towards us. Um, and you know what? I think people forget there will be a day where Temuera Morrison will no longer be with us. Then we'll have to resort to other means in order to get his legendary voice as the Clone Troopers or as Boba Fett or Jango Fett. These characters may live forever, but their actors are not going to. And Temuera Morrison is in his 60s. I mean, he's getting up there now. There'll be David Mark Hamill's no longer with us. Carrie Fisher's already no longer with us. Kenny Baker's no longer with us. David Prowse is no longer with us. Peter Mayhew is no longer with us. So many people are no longer with us, and it's making the creation of these stories so much harder. So Disney, Lucasfilm, if I have a message for you, utilize Temuera Morrison as much as you can. I say utilize, but have him in as much stuff as you can. Because there will be a day when you're going to wish he was in it. Star Wars, after Carrie died, has been so much more different. Leia probably would have had a very much more interesting role in The Rise of Skywalker if Carrie hadn't passed away. Now, I'm very happy with how they ended her story. If there's anything I appreciate about J.J. Abrams, it's I feel like with what he was given and the tools that he had, he gave Leia a proper send-off. And that's something I'll always defend about that movie. If there's anything I like about that movie, about The Rise of Skywalker, it's Leia's send-off and how her character was handled. I think J.J. did a good job with that. And it was very respectful to her legacy. To not only Leia's legacy, but Carrie's legacy. But we all wish she was still with us, right? And there, again, Temuera Morrison, there will be a day when he's no longer with us. And as scary as that is, it's the truth. So for Disney to kind of just throw him aside as if he's replaceable is wrong and ridiculous because he's not replaceable. There's no one who will be able to play the clones. Like him, now you may bring up Daniel Logan, but Daniel Logan looks nothing like Temuera Morrison. I mean, sorry to say it, he doesn't. He plays the child clones, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. And it'd be cool to maybe one day see him play a young Boba Fett. That'd be cool too. Maybe a Boba Fett in his early teens, or not early teens, his late teens, or his, maybe 18, 19, 20, even 20's not teens, but it'd be cool to see him come back to play a young Boba. But for an older Boba, a Boba Fett that we always remember, that's Temuera. And there's going to be a day when he's going to be no longer able to do that. But even beyond that, he deserves it. He deserves, even if it's new canon, I don't even care at this point. He deserves to have a story with him in it and not feel like he's being sidelined. And then, making this character, playing this character that he doesn't feel is the right character for Boba Fett, that it doesn't feel right to play him. It's very interesting. It's very sad. And these comments make it even worse. And the fact that he was in season 3 and they kind of he was going to be, and then they kind of wrote him off, I think is ludicrous. I think it's disrespectful. I think it's wrong. I mean, he says it. They had him. He was supposed to do it, and then he never got the call back. It's sad, man. It's so sad. I mean, imagine being Temuera Morrison. The amount of years he has devoted himself to this franchise, and this is how he's treated by Disney. That's why people don't like Disney anymore. That's why so many people are starting to realize, even big Disney new canon fans, they're starting to realize the hypocrisy and the greed and the disrespectful actions that are being done by Disney. That, these aspects, these ideas are all ingrained in who Disney is. Disney is a huge, massive corporation / franchise. They don't care about us. They don't care about their actors. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the products they're putting out. As long as they're getting the money, they don't care. And that's very sad. And that's ultimately reflecting on the story. That's why no one cares about Disney Star Wars anymore. No one cares about it. The EU fandom is growing so much more every day because of the idiocy found in Disney Star Wars and the people who lead it. So this is only one example out of many, and this will still happen, of why Disney Star Wars is horrible. Thanks for watching.